Hi everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are making the Chain Weaver Slouchy hat. This hat is so wonderful. I'll get into all the supplies and then we'll get into some frequently asked questions about sizing and then we'll get into making this fun piece. This was so awesome to make, so I have to say a huge thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing all the yarn for this project. You don't need a whole lot. I would say your main color of the hat, which I used, is Dusty Gray over here. You will probably need about 100 to 150 yards of that, but then everything else, all these other colors, you can use as many colors as you want just for your chains. You just need a scrap amount of yarn. You don't need a whole lot of yarn for that. So, but the colors I'm using are yellow is back here. There's bright yellow. This is Aruba Sea. This is coral, or I think it's like hot coral or something. I don't have the label. And then this one is jade back here. So you can use as many colors as you want. I'm using these 4 colors for my chains, and I just change them out and have a sequence of them throughout the whole project. But it'd be really cool if you did like 2 colors or 1 solid color, or even every single row a different color. So you can really play around with these and make as many different hats as you want. Now as for the hook size, we are using an H size crochet hook, which is 5 millimeters. So this crochet hook right here is hand carved. It's ergonomic. It's super fancy. It's actually from the Etsy shop, Would Be Fancy. So you can get your crochet hooks from there. And these are just ergonomic and nice. They fit in the palm of your hand. The curvature of the crochet hook is so wonderful, and I love it so much. I promote these in all of my videos, on my Whip Wednesday videos. I love to share the love for that Etsy shop because obviously it's my dad who makes these, so it's awesome. So big thank you to him and Would Be Fancy for making this hook for us today. And also we're going to need a scissors and a yarn needle because to cut our yarn and sew the chains through and sew in our ends, we use the yarn needle for that. So that is all the supplies you're going to need today. Now for sizing, this hat is going to fit me. It's going to fit an adult person, and it is very stretchy, so it'll fit a pretty big head there. So it's about 22 inches around the circumference of the head, which is as big as my head is, so that will fit me. If you need to make this smaller, I do not have stitch counts, but you can use a smaller crochet hook to make this a little bit smaller. If you need it for like a child or a teen, you can use like a G-sized crochet hook or even an F-sized crochet hook, and this will turn out to be much smaller. So it's really your choice, but I do not have stitch counts for smaller sizes. This is the size I made, so and absolutely love it. It's super fabulous. All the chain color changes. It's just really cool looking. So those are, yeah, all the supplies, all the frequently asked questions. I have to say a huge thank you again to Red Heart Yarns. Big thank you to my dad who's behind me for filming this tutorial, editing it, and posting it up on YouTube for us. Speaking of YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell so you can get the update on when we post the next video. Make sure to follow all my socials. They're all in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube, so make sure to follow my Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that good stuff so you can see behind the scenes clips of what we do here at YARNutopia. Alright, that's all I have to say for this intro. Let's get started and make the Chain Weaver Slouchy hat. Alright, to start off we are going to use our main color and we're going to make a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, then fold this down over your long end and then pull your long end through and pull tight, and there is your slip knot. You can insert your hook and we can start. So to start off we are going to chain 3, so yarn over and pull through 1, 2, and 3, and then in that third chain from the hook way over here we are going to put 9 double crochets. So yarn over, okay, go into that third chain. Here's 1, 2, 3, this one way over here, go into that chain, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through those other 2 loops on your hook, and that is a double crochet. So we have to make 9 of those in that chain. So that was 1, so yarn over, go back in, make another double crochet, there's 2, yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 3. This is 4, 5. It will go into a circular form, so you can see I'm kind of working around here now. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we want to slip stitch to the first double crochet, okay? Not this chain up 2 right here. There's a 1, 2. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to go into the first stitch right up top here. Go into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And there you have round 1. So you should have 9 stitches at the end of this round. So going on to round 2, we are going to chain up 2, 1 and 2. Again, though, that does not count as anything. That just gets us the height we need for this round to make double crochets. So in this second round here, we are going to put 2 double crochets into each stitch around. So yarn over, go into the very first stitch that we just slip stitched into, go into there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And again, yarn over, go back into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And so now there's 2 stitches in that one stitch. And we're going to jump to the next stitch right here and put 2 single crochets, or I'm sorry, double crochets in there, 1 and 2. Hop to the next. 2 double crochets. I don't know why I said single crochets earlier. I don't know. Weird. These are double crochets. So here's 1 and 2. Hop to the next and just put 2 double crochets into each stitch around. At the end of round 2, you'll have 18 double crochets. I'll do that and then I'll come back. We'll go on to round 3 next. Alright, I have my 18 stitches around, so once you have your 18 stitches, you can slip stitch to the first double crochet stitch right here. So ignore this chain up 2, here's chain 1, chain 2, and then your stitch right here. We're going to go into the first double crochet, and then yarn over, pull through and through for a slip stitch. And pull it tight here. There we go. And going on to round 3 next, we're going to chain up 2, just like the last round. And now we're going to put 2 double crochets into this first stitch that we just slip stitched into. We're going to put 2 double crochets in there. So 1 and 2. Okay, just like that. And then in this next stitch here, we're only going to put 1 double crochet. And then we'll repeat that whole sequence all the way around. Sorry, I'm turning this way. So we're going to put 2 double crochets in this next stitch, 1 and 2, and then double crochet just once in the next stitch. Okay, and then repeat that sequence. So 2 double crochets in this next stitch, and then 1 in the next stitch. And at the end of round 3, you'll have 27 double crochets. So I'll do that, and then we'll go on to round 4 next. Alright, just have 27 double crochets around, just finished here. So now we're going to slip stitch the first double crochet stitch here. So again, ignore that chain 2 there, go into the first double crochet stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And pull tight. And now we could go on to round 4. So round 4 is different now. We're making the chain, the open stitches there. So now what we're going to do is chain 5. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this beginning here, the first 3 chains count as a double crochet now. Okay, and then the next 2 chains, the next 2 chains count as chain 2 space. Okay, any chain 2 any 2 chains fans like that? 2 chains. Anyway, going on to the next step here, it says double crochet into the very next stitch. So skip this first stitch that we just slip stitched into because this chain 5, actually this chain 3 stitch is counted as a double crochet, and that's basically worked into this stitch that we slip stitched into. So go into this next stitch here. So yarn over, go into the next stitch right there, and make a double crochet. Okay, and then we're just going to chain 2, go into the next stitch with a double crochet. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So chain 2, and then go into the next stitch for a double crochet. Then chain 2, and double crochet in the very next stitch. So that's what we're going to do for round 4. Very simple. So I'll do that, and then we'll go on to round 5 next. When you finish round 4, make sure to chain 2 and then slip stitch to the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 5 here. So 1, 2, 3, right in this 3rd chain, slip stitch into there. So go in the front and back loop, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, so this is what your work should look like right now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go into round 5. We are going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space right here. So go into this gap and then yarn over and pull through, but don't pull too tight, just loosely, just so you're in the middle of that chain 2 space. And for this round, round 5, it says to chain 5. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and again, just like the last round, these first 3 chains count as a double crochet and the next 2 chains count as a chain 2 space. And now we're going to double crochet into the next chain 2 space. So right here, skip this double crochet, go into this gap right here and make a double crochet. And then we're just going to do that all the way around. So chain 2, 1, 2, hop to the next chain 2 space here and make a double crochet. And then chain 2 and then double crochet in the next chain 2 space. And just keep doing that all the way around. And at the end of this round, I'll come back and we'll go on to round 6. Alright, finishing this round, just remember to chain 2 and then slip stitch again, just like the last round, slip stitch to the chain 3, the 3rd chain of our beginning chain 5 here. Slip stitch in there. And then going on to round 6, again, we're going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space here. So go into that chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through and through. And for this round, round 6 says to just chain up 4. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what that counts as is the first 3 chains count as a double crochet, and then that next chain counts as a chain 1 space. And then the pattern says to double crochet into the next double crochet stitch right here. So yarn over and go into that stitch, and then yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through those other 2 loops. Okay, then we're going to just chain 1, and then we're going to double crochet into the chain 2 space right here. And then we're just going to repeat that. So chain 1, double crochet into the double crochet stitch right here, and then chain 1 and double crochet into the next chain 2 space. And just continue. Chain 1, double crochet into the double crochet, and then chain 1 and double crochet into the chain 2 space. I'll do that all the way around, and we're increasing at this point. There'll be more stitches on this round than they were on the previous round. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and we'll go on to round 7. Alright, when you come back around, do not forget to double crochet into this chain 3 stitch right here, because remember we slip stitched into this chain 2 space here, so we skipped working into this stitch. So we want to finish in that stitch. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have 54 stitches at the end of round 6 here. So just make sure that you have 54 stitches around, and then chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain of our beginning chain 4 here. So go into the 3rd chain, yarn over, pull through and through. Okay, and that is what your work should look like. So this is what your work should look like, a big circle, and we just increased. So we have 54 stitches now all the way around, okay? This is where we're ending our increase now. And for round 7 is actually our repeat round. We are going to slip stitch into the chain 1 space here, or the chain space here, okay? Then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then just double crochet into the next chain space. And then chain 2, 1, 2, and then double crochet into the next chain space. Then chain 2, 1, 2, and double crochet into the next chain space. And just do that all the way around, and then when we come back around, I'll show you how to go on to round 8, but that is essentially our repeat. So I'll finish this round with you, and then we'll go on to round 8, and then I'll let you be for the repeat. Alright, just finishing this round. Going on to round 8, you want to make sure that chain 2 and then slip stitch to the third chain of your beginning chain 5. Okay, and now rounds 8 through 16. Okay, rounds 8 through 16 are exactly a repeat of what we did for round 7 here. So we're just going to slip stitch into the chain space, chain up 5, and then double crochet into the next chain space, then chain 2, and double crochet into the next chain space, and then just repeat chain 2, double crochet into the next chain space, chain 2, double crochet into the next chain space. And we're going to just slip stitch to the third chain of our beginning chain 5 when we come back around, and then slip stitch into the chain space and go on to the next round. And we're going to do this up until we finish round 16. So I'm going to do that, and then once I'm finished with round 16, we'll go on to round 17 together. Alright, I just finished round 16, so this is what your work should look like. You're probably like, whoa, Nadia, that's humongous. But don't worry, it is a slouchy hat, and it is extra slouchy, so we are going to cinch this in now and make it so it'll fit around your head, because it's really ginormous right now. So what we're going to do, I mean, what you could do if you wanted to make like a market bag, you could just continue with this round and make a big bag if you wanted to, and don't cinch it. But we want to cinch this and make it for our head. So I'm going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space here. So we just finished round 16. I slip stitched to the third chain of that beginning chain 5 there. I'm slip stitching into the chain 2 space right here. And then for round 17, it says to chain up 1, so yarn over and pull through, just chain up 1, that doesn't count as anything. We're just going to put 1 single crochet into this chain 2 space. So go in, then yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Okay, that's a single crochet. Now we're just going to hop to the next one. We're going to like kind of squeeze everything together, and we're going to single crochet into the next chain 2 space. So go in, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. Okay, like that. And we're going to hop into the next chain 2 space. We're just single crocheting into each chain 2 space, and we're doing this loosely, but it will start to cinch everything tight. Okay, so hop to the next chain 2 space and just single crochet in there. Okay, hop to the next chain 2 space and single crochet in there. And at the end of this round, you'll have 54 single crochets. Again, I'm doing this very loosely. You can see I'm going in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. But you can see there's kind of a gap in my stitch. It's just a loose single crochet. Okay, if you crochet tight, you can grab a bigger hook and do this round. That's totally fine. But I'm just going to crochet loosely with the hook I have, just like this. And by the end of this round, I will have 54 stitches, like I said, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you round 18. Alright, as you can see, we single crocheted in each chain 2 space, and it really cinched in quite a bit. So what we're going to do now, I single crocheted in my last chain 2 space here. Here's my first chain 2 space, and you can see my slip stitch, then my chain 1, and here's my first single crochet stitch right here. Okay, we're not actually going to slip stitch in there. We are actually going to work in continuous rounds, and we're going to work in the back loops only. So usually we work through both loops here, both loops, both loops, both loops. The loop that's furthest away from you here, this loop right here, is our back loop. Okay, this is considered our back loop of our work, and the loop that's in the front is considered your front loop, just like that. Okay, so we're going to work in the back loops only and in continuous rounds for this part here. So if you want to grab another piece of yarn or a stitch marker, you can, and you can stick it in there to mark your rounds if you need to. And we are going to go into that very first single crochet stitch right here into the back loop of it, and we are going to single crochet. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Okay, and then just single crochet into the back loop of each stitch around for rounds 18 through 24. Okay, so we're going to do a total of 8 rounds on this brim here, so 17 we just finished single crocheting in the chain spaces. We're on round 18 now, and we are doing a single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch, and we are repeating that for rounds 18 through 24. Once I finish round 24, I'll come back and show you how to fasten off. Alright, just finishing up round 24 here, and when you are finished we are going to fasten off. So let's go into the next stitch right here. You can see my stitch marker is here and I have my rounds, and it's nice to work into the back loop there, so it makes this like ribbing kind of look with this front loop exposed. So to fasten this off, we're just going to go under both loops of the next stitch here and yarn over and pull through, and then pull through the loop on your hook. And then what I like to do is just chain one and cut my yarn and then pull it through that chain one there and pull tight. Okay, and that fastens that off. And then just grab your yarn needle and sew in this end real quick here. So just yarn your needle with that strand and then just go behind your work into the inside of the hat. And then I just like to go underneath some of these stitches, and I like to just sew them in just like that. And you can sew in all your ends as you go. There you go. And then just cut any extra and then remove your stitch marker, and there you have a nice slouchy hat. But I want to add some pop of color to this, so I have all this yarn over here that I'm going to grab, and we are going to make some chains next to weave in and out of these chain 2 spaces of our hat. So grab some color and we'll get to making our chains next. Alright, so I'm just going to set this aside. I actually have one really nice one almost finished. I didn't finish it yet, but we're going to add these chains in here now, and this just looks so cool. But I have 3 more rows I have to do, but I was going to show you how to do this weaving and making the chains. So what we're going to do is grab whatever colors you want, and I'm going to show you what I did. Now each round has a different amount of chains. It's really your tension and how loose and how tight your chaining is. So you might have a different number of chains than me for each row, but in the written pattern I do share how many chains I put on each row, so you know if you want to do as many as me and then weave it through and see if it's too big or too small, add more or less chains. So really this part is creator's choice on how many chains you need. I'll show you a few tips and tricks though on how to get it to be like this so it's not too tight. Let me hold this up so you can see the back here. So it's not tight at all, it's nice and loose, and it's stretchy, so that's really cool. So it is not too loose where this is like pulled out randomly like that. Okay, so obviously I just pulled that really really tightly, but once you stretch it back out, it's nice and flat. So, and that's for all the way around. Now I did notice my the back side of my work is a little bit, you can kind of see where my work where I tied my knots and I sewed in some of my ends, so you can do it a little better and just take your time really on making this look really good. And if it does come out loose like this a little bit, you can just, obviously I'm just kind of weaving it through, kind of loosening it nicely like that. So this is what it looks like for me so far. So like I said earlier, I'm gonna put the numbers for each chain amount for each row in the pattern so you can see how many chains I did for each row. But I'll just show you, we'll go on to the next row here. I have 3 rows left, so I'm just gonna show you. We're gonna tie a slip knot. Okay, and we're going to use this short strand for tying a knot later, so just keep it kind of a little bit longer to tie a knot later and sew it in. So what we're going to do is just chain. So for majority of my rounds, for this like middle section here where there's no repeats, I did between like 140 and 150. Okay, so 140 chains to 150, and I kind of played around with it when I was weaving it in and out. So I'm just going to chain 140 and see where that takes me. So yarn over and pull through just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to make you watch me do all these chains, but this is essentially how I'm making it. Okay, so make as many chains as you need to, and then, or make a random amount, and then I'll show you how we weave this in. Alright, so I did want to mention for these smaller circles up top here, and when laying it flat like this, it is much easier to weave it in all the way around, like laying it on a table and then kind of going in and out and pulling it tight for all of these rounds. But these rounds underneath and on the side is a little bit more difficult, so I'm just going to show you what I did here on this one. And I actually have my next color, you can see my color sequence. It's yellow, jade, coral, aruba sea, yellow, jade, coral, aruba sea, yellow, jade, so the next color is coral. So I actually made a chain of coral already off camera here. And this end of the coral is still attached to the ball of yarn. Okay, you can see my ball of yarn is way over here, and it's still attached. Okay, so I just made 140 chains, and we're taking our yarn needle now and going on the end where we made our slip knot, our very first chain here. I just yarned my needle with that. And then we're going to the back of our work here. So you want to make sure to find the back of your work. Mine's right here. Okay, and we're just going to go in and out of these chains. Okay, just like this, and then just pull all the way to the end. Okay, now another thing, you want to make sure that your chain is not twisted. So that's another thing. You want to make sure that your chain is not twisted. It just gives it a better look. So just take your time going in and out, just weaving through. Hence the name of this hat. Chains and weaving. Here we go. So I'm trying to make sure my chain is not twisted, and I am pulling this. Sorry if my hands get in the way here, but just trying to pull this without twisting the chain. And then you want to stretch this out to make sure that nothing is too tight. And then we're just moving around here. So we're just going to grab our yarn needle here and go in and out. Now do not skip any of these double crochet stitches, going in and out, in and out. Just like that, and then pull. Again, make sure not to twist the chain, and pull. Okay, and then stretch. And again, don't do this too tightly. So just pull and then just stretch. And just keep on going all the way around. And we're doing this for every single row that has the chains. So I did it for rows 4 through 16. Okay, just those rows have the chains. And in the crochet pattern on YARNutopia.com, I share how many chains I put on each row. So you can check out the written pattern is linked in the description of this video if you are watching this on YouTube. So make sure to check the crochet pattern on my website, or you can just go to YARNutopia.com and search this pattern and it will come up. So you can always do that. And I'm just weaving this through here. There we go. Stretch it out. And if you have too many chains, you can easily just take this apart, you know, take your chains out. Or if you don't have enough chains, which it looks like I don't have enough on this row here, so I'm gonna probably have to add more chains to my hat, to this row here. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm not twisting. And obviously you can take your time. I'm just going a little faster for the camera here. Just stretch it out. And yep, I ran out. So what we're going to do here, don't look at my mess, sorry. We're going to go to the beginning here. This is still attached to the ball of yarn. Okay, I'm going to bring this around. Okay, and we're just going to add more chains. So I did 140, so I'm going to do 10 more. So 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And that should probably get me to where I need to be. So we're just going to pull this through to the very end there and just continue pulling it around very loosely. Okay. So I'm actually working on round 14 right now. Okay, and then I have 2 more rows after this. But you can see it's a little bit of a tedious project because we're trying to make the right amount of chains, but like I said, it's really up to you because of the tension. If your chains are really tight, you might need more chains. If your chains are really loose, you'll need less chains. But overall, it's looking good. Okay, so now going through these last few stitching here, weaving this through. Perfect. Alright, make sure that's not twisted. Good deal. Now we are all the way through. We're going to cut that yarn that was attached to the ball of yarn there and just continue pulling that through just like that and pull tight. Okay, then we're going to take these 2 strands and tie them in a knot. Oh my goodness, there we go. Oh, lost my thing there. Hang on, there we go. I want to make sure you can see this, and I'm trying to see this at the same time, so we're just trying to tie this in a knot. There we go, pull tight, stretch everything out, grab your yarn needle, and then sew in each of these ends, and we sew them into the chain. So I'm just going back and forth. In through this just like that, and pull and stretch it, and then cut any extra. And then I'm going to do that to the other side too. So just do that for all your chains and all the rows. Like I said, rows 4 through 16 get the chains. So I'm going to do that, and then I just have these 2 left, and then I'll come back when I'm finished. Alright, I just finished. I'm just cleaning up some ends here that are poking out, but there it is. The Chain Weaver hat is complete. How fabulous is that? I love it so much, and I just had to make like the same amount of chains for this chunk here, but then the last 2 sections, or last 3 sections, had less and less chains as you went down because it cinches at the head here. So it looks really good. I love it so much. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to make this hat. I'm gonna wear it out in fashion. It's gonna look so cute with the outfit that I chose. So thank you so much for watching. A big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing all of this yarn today. Big thank you to my dad who's back behind the camera doing his thing. And a big thank you to you for watching. Until next time, happy hooking!